All right, Sistas fans. Now, given the fact that we're 8 episodes in and it looks like Andi has some second thoughts about Gary, I think meeting Paris has made her decide to explore her options and, well, go for a guy who comes with far less baggage than Gary. But do you think Andi should stay with Gary? Do you think she should kick him to the curb? Now, let me just say this, and you're probably going to think I'm biased, but I'm looking at this from both sides. Part of me is like, Andi, dude just left his wife to be with you, and now you want to kick him to the curb for potentially Paris, for a guy you just met. But then on the flip side, two things on Gary. Number one, dog, you're cheating on your wife, and number two, the woman that Danny saw Gary at the airport with several episodes ago was not Jasmine, meaning that Andi is possibly one of many women he's seeing outside of his wife. There it is. I honestly don't see why people want these two together, because there are people who literally have been rooting for Andi and Gary but have been saying evil things about Jasmine. And as far as I can tell anyway, Jasmine is a faithful woman who knows her husband's up to foul activities and wants to save her marriage. That's it. So Andi being a titular character, I get people want to be on her side and everything, but Andi is dirty. Literally. I mean, yeah, Miss Irene made a good point about her being a good person, but at the same time, that doesn't encompass all areas of her life. Just because you recycle and, just by looking at someone's trash, you can determine some things, but she's a bit garbage in the romance department because she's messing around with somebody that she knows is married. Her job and career is potentially on the line here if things don't go well in terms of this divorce settlement, despite the conflict of interest involving herself, Gary, and Jasmine. So let me just say that it would be pretty jacked up for her to just kick Gary to the curb, which looks like that's what's happening in the next episode, saying that I think you need to go back and try to work things out with your wife. But then we see that the private investigator talks with Andi in person, and I think that she's surprised, number one, that it's a woman PI instead of a male. But I wonder if the PI has any dirt on Andi and Gary. So who knows? I mean, the private investigator, Jasmine says that the PI has nothing on Gary's activities, but remember that Jasmine had just given Andi the information for the PI, but remember, she thought it was a male. The PI could have been around without Andi knowing it. For all we know, the PI knew that Jasmine was talking with Andi, who's the woman seeing her husband, and felt it best not to tell Jasmine just yet. So I don't know. But these trailers have been a bit misleading, where it looks like there's something going down, but then we look in the actual episode and it's not. So it could be effective misdirection. But I think that it's pretty weird how things are turning out now, because these women are showing their true colors now. Like, I guess the episode title "Old Faithful" is in reference to people like Rico. These F buddies who just come around, and these women get what they need when they're not getting it from who they really want it from. But then you also have to look at it from the perspective of, okay, Gary is not a good dude, because Jasmine already told Andi about his abusive tendencies. And as this episode, and if you looked at my episode review, you could tell I was not a big fan of most of the episode. It was just recycled dialogue, and Gary's a one-note character. I'm sorry, I love you, because he overreacts to a situation. He's very very selfish. He seems territorial, and based on the fact that he questions Andi so much about her whereabouts and suspicious of him being cheated on, despite the fact that he's cheating on his wife and cheating on Andi without her knowing it, he feels like, oh, I can go around and be around with as many women as I want to, but the woman I'm seeing behind my wife's back, or one of the women I'm seeing behind my wife's back, better not be involved with anyone else. So he is definitely a manipulator and selfish, disloyal, and a cheater. And honestly, I don't think they should be together. Yeah, I said it. And I'm not saying it in Andi's defense. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't really give a damn about her job being on the line or anything. It's just that he's a married man and you should know better. So I hope that things smooth out. But I don't know. I mean, let me think of it from this perspective. Like Gary, let's say if I were Gary in this situation, if Andi decided to try to kick me to the curb, I could just say that, guess what? Guess what? The woman the one you've been seeing to file for divorce, yeah, I've been banging her. So either way, Andi's career is jeopardized because Gary could blow whistle on himself and Andi, and then Andi's screwed. So I could see Gary using that as a, I guess you could say, holding Andi's career in the balance if she decides to kick him to the curb to be with someone else. I could definitely see that. He definitely seems like the kind of guy who would do that. So that's just my thoughts on it. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Andi and Gary should be together? Do you think they should stop seeing each other? Do you think the PI knows anything? Do you think Jasmine's going to find out the truth? Either way, we should find out something by the back half of this season or by the mid-season finale. But I don't really know if this show's going to take a break once it gets to like episode 12 or something, or if they're just going to keep playing the episodes until the end of the season. We'll just have to wait and see. But once again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We are less than 750 people away from 100,000. Make sure to check me out on social media. Links are in the description below, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.